Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first stage of my little round the world tour. And I'm going to be starting off in Italy. It's a country I've only visited once, but it's also somewhere I'm really keen to go back to because there's just so much stuff there. And let's start out with the history. On my trip, I visited Rome, and I got to walk around the Forum and see the Colosseum. And this was the center of a world empire 2,000 years ago. There's just so much famous stuff that happened there, and there are loads and loads of museums and art galleries in Rome. I didn't have time to see even the tiniest fraction of it. In fact, I spent just about all my time either in the Forum or in the Capitoline Museum looking at Roman stuff. I didn't touch any of the more recent Italian history, but of course we've got the whole of the Renaissance. We've got people like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. I should go to Florence and see all the stuff there, and to Milan. I did get to go briefly to Bologna, although I actually spent most of my time in a small hilltop village to the south of Bologna, where I stayed in a place that used to be a monastery, or bishop's palace rather, and they actually had a little garden there on the top of the hill with a fabulous view out towards the Adriatic. And there was a little note there, a little plaque, which said that Dante used to sit there when he was living in that particular palace. And just the sense of history you get from visiting Italy is absolutely amazing. The other thing about Italy is the food. If you've invented pasta, then you're doing really, really well, because it's such an easy dish to cook. There are so many possible variations on it, and it's really, really healthy as well. But the Italian diet is supposed to be one of the healthiest in the world. So well done on inventing pasta, Italy. But they also invented pizza, which is just amazing stuff. Now, to have invented either pasta or pizza would have been amazing, but to have invented them both, that's a bit like showing off, folks. That's really seriously impressive. So there's going to be lots and lots of lovely food that you can have when you're in Italy. Although I should note that all of this stuff, that all of these wonderful foods that Italy has, would not be possible without the humble tomato, which they imported from Mexico. So, Italian food, wonderful though it is a relatively recent invention. Roman food was actually very different. They used to eat songbirds and goodness knows what sort of strange things. So they did eat a lot of fish. I'll give them that. They had a very good fish diet, but they did eat some things that we would find very, very strange. So that's a bit of a start on Italy. By the way, on several of these trips, I'm going to be assisted by a little companion. I want to introduce you to Augustus. He's not actually Italian, but he is Roman. He comes from the city of Bath, just up the road from me, and he regards himself as a Roman lion. His name, as I said, is Augustus, and he's a bit of a bad boy. He's very much in favour of patriarchy and imperialism and all that sort of thing. But what do you expect? He's a male lion. He's probably in favour of eating people in the Colosseum as well, but we won't mention that, Augustus. We are going to have some nice Italian food instead. And I'm back after a short visit to the kitchen. I promised you some lovely Italian food. And what do we have here? Pizza. Now, I have to admit that is a bit of a cheat. I didn't cook the whole thing myself. I bought the base and whatever. But one of the great things about pizza is that even if it's store-bought, you can always add extra topping to it. So I've added some more pepperoni to that one, and I always add some freshly grated parmesan and some crushed red chilies to just add a little bit more taste to the thing. So that's what I'm going to be eating for dinner tonight. I'll also, of course, accompany it with some nice Italian red wine. And for dessert, if all goes well, I'm going to have one of my very favourite things. Italy, of course, is very famous for its gelato, its ice cream. but there's nothing that I could find in Tesco that will be anywhere near close to the real thing. So I decided that I would go for something else that's Italian that I really love, and that is sapaioni. Now, that's a little complicated to cook, but Delia has promised me a recipe that is much easier than the standard method, so I'm going to give it a go, and if it all works out, then I will stick photographs of it up on the blog afterwards. Not going to do that this evening, however, because, or at least not in this video, because it's not a good idea to make videos after you've been drinking large quantities of wine. So that's me done for now, but do check the blog, the Twitter feed, and whatever. There should be lots of posts about Italy. There'll be photographs from my trip there. There might be a little bit about Romans as well. We'll see. We'll hopefully put a lot of stuff together. And in the meantime, thank you for watching, and please do donate to Help 125.